Well, it looks like the Cardinals have gone backwards in 2025. Now, this team is just at an interesting standstill right now, and the fans are upset, and I really have no idea what's going on here. So let's take a look at the Cardinals' last 5 seasons. Obviously, they were pretty solid for the most part. You can see 2021, 2022, they made the postseason, and obviously 2024, they were a good team, second in the NL Central. So it's a little bit weird going into 2025 and seeing them 4th in the division at 78 and 84. Obviously, took a couple steps back, and they also just in an interesting position as an organization. They really don't have that many great players signed for long term, and they did just trade a couple of those guys away. Obviously, the Contreras trade for Boston, right? That's the one I'm talking about. So very interesting team, and I'm unsure about how they're going to rebuild and make the playoffs again. But why don't we take a look at their contract situation, because there's really not much going on here, if I'm going to be all the way honest. Nolan Arenado is the one guy they have signed for 2026 and 2027. That will bring an end to his 9-year contract he signed with this team in 2019, and I'm pretty sure everyone imagines he's going to retire after that contract, to be honest. So I imagine he's going to stay on this team until that contract's over. The one free agent signing they did make, though, was Dustin May. Obviously, he was on the Boston Red Sox in 2025. He's coming over to St. Louis now. He's on a 1-year, $12.5 million contract with the team, and he does have a mutual option for 2027. So we'll kind of see if that gets extended as well. And those are the only 2 players they have signed under contract. Everyone else is in arbitration on this team. Yeah, they haven't done much in this offseason. Signed Dustin May, and they made a couple of trades, but that's about it so far. If we take a look at how much money they have committed so far, it's about $74.2 million. They're also still paying $5 million to the Colorado Rockies for the Nolan Arenado trade. So that's where that extra $5 million is coming from. If we take a look at what they spent in 2025, it was $153 million in payroll. That put them number 19th in the league. So obviously, I don't imagine they're going to get back up there just with a lot of the players that they've traded on, a lot of the guys that are now gone. So we'll kind of see what happens with them. I imagine probably $120 million right around there, maybe, if I had to take a guess. So not a lot going on the contract side, but let's take a look at this team's roster for 2026. So let's start with this rotation. As it stands right now, Dustin May is probably their best pitcher that they have on this team. You know, the pitching was their strong suit as well when they had Sonny Gray on this team, but now, you know, all those guys are gone, and once again, this is another spot they're gonna have to rebuild in this rotation. We'll see what these guys can do moving forward, but definitely a rebuild in that rotation. Now, taking a look at their bullpen, also another rebuild is gonna have to happen in the bullpen. They only got 6 guys on the bullpen as it stands right now. Jojo Romo's their best player in this bullpen, but besides for that, a couple of these guys have had some moments, but that's about it. So let's take a look at the starting 9 on this team. Obviously, I think Ivan Herrera is probably going to be the main time catcher. I think he's probably the better player of all of these guys on here. First baseman is going to be Alec Burleson, which makes complete sense. Second baseman is going to be Brennan Donovan. Third baseman is obviously going to be Nolan Arenado. And then shortstop, it's obviously going to be Mason Wynn. And then moving on to the outfield, Lars Newbar is probably going to play left field. Victor Scott probably going to be in center field. And then Jordan Walker probably going to be in right field. That's kind of how I see this outfield looking up. Then moving on to the DH, honestly, Nolan Gorman is probably going to be the DH, or, you know, they could have Alex Burleson or Ivan Herrera, just depending on who's playing that day. So that's kind of how I see this team. Nothing crazy on the list so far. Like, there's not a player that I'm like extremely excited to see. I feel like the Cardinals were exciting a couple years ago. Now they haven't really added any more players, so we kind of know what to expect with this squad. But the things that are exciting about the Cardinals organization is their top 100 prospects. They actually have 4 guys on the top 100 who are all very exciting. Now, coming at number 5 on the top 100 is JJ Weatherholt. He was obviously drafted by St. Louis in 2024 at pick 7. And in 2025, he played really good. He batted a .306, which is very impressive at the AA and AAA levels. I mean, just maintaining a 300 batting average in both of the levels is still insanely impressive in my opinion. Played in 109 games in the 2025 season. Honestly, played pretty well. He had 28 doubles, 17 home runs, and 59 RBI. So definitely going to be a solid player once he gets up to the Cardinals. And obviously, he's super versatile. He can play shortstop, second base, and third. So he can basically play the whole infield, which is pretty impressive. And his ETA is 2026, so we'll wait and see. We'll see if he's able to start at opening day. I think that'd be very interesting if he's able to. Obviously, he's got to play spring training, and then the spring breakout's going to be a huge one for him as well. So he's a player I'm definitely excited to see playing next year for the St. Louis Cardinals team. It could definitely be a reason why they could be good. And this is exactly what the Cardinals need. One of their young guys that they drafted getting called up to make some hype on this team. Now, coming in at number 36 is going to be Liam Doyle. Now, he was drafted in 2025 in the first round at pick number 5. In 2025, he did play a little bit. He only pitched 3.2 innings, and it looks like he gave up a couple runs in the A-ball level. But in AA, he pitched 2 innings and basically had no problems. So obviously, 6 strikeouts through almost 4 innings is not bad. And he only gave up 3 hits and a home run and had 2 walks. So nothing crazy. We obviously got to see more from him, right? Obviously, he only got to pitch a couple innings, but definitely going to be an exciting player to watch. His ETA is 2027, so he's got a lot of time to develop before making that start in 2027. But I definitely think 2026 will be a good year for him to kind of prove what he has at all the levels. So he's definitely an exciting left-handed pitcher to wait for when it comes to the MLB. Now, coming at number 55 on the top 100 is going to be Rendell Rodriguez. Now, he's a catcher that signed in 2024 with the Cardinals. And in 2025, he batted a 276 in 84 games, and he was at rookie ball, A ball, and high A. Definitely an interesting player for sure, because he's only 18 years old, which is extremely impressive. His ETA is 2028. So once again, a lot of time to develop in the Cardinals system. And he's already playing pretty solid as a hitting catcher. Obviously, you really can't see, fielding stats from the stat charts that we get. If he's able to hit this well, I imagine he's probably a pretty good defensive catcher, because most of them are nowadays. I mean, in 2025, he had 22 doubles, 20 home runs, and 63 RBIs. So definitely another solid player here that the St. Louis Cardinals have, and definitely be interesting to see how he develops. Obviously, not going to get to play in the MLB for quite some time because he's so young, but it's also a good thing because he's going to develop into a pretty good player, I think. Coming at number 92 is going to be Leonardo Brindell. Now, he's a catcher. He signed with the St. Louis Cardinals in 2021, and he's been in the minor leagues for 5 straight seasons, and honestly, he's been pretty okay at some of these levels. Nothing crazy is popping off the charts yet. In 2025, he did play with the AA team and batted a 247, and that was in 107 games. So obviously, a lot of sample size here. He had 19 doubles, 13 home runs, and 70 RBIs, so definitely some of the better stats in his minor league career so far was coming from this 2025 season. His ETA is 2026, but by the way he's playing, kind of doubt he's going to make that debut just because he hasn't been in AAA yet. So we'll kind of wait and see what happens with him. Obviously, a guy that's been in the minors for quite some time. We'll see if he gets a shot at AAA and then the major leagues in the future. But those are the 4 guys that the St. Louis Cardinals have in the top 100. Obviously, I think a lot of them are very impressive, and I'm very excited to see them very soon for the MLB, especially in spring training. We're going to see these guys, and obviously the spring breakout's going to be huge for most of them. So definitely an exciting list of prospects that the Cardinals have. Now, going over to my prediction on the 2026 Cardinals season, I really can't have too much hopes. I think the hope is that these players come through the system and are really good with the main team. Only have really gotten worse since their 2025 end with this offseason so far. So there's not really much hope I have. Maybe they go 500 again. Maybe they have a similar season to 2024. Kind of hard to suggest that after the recent moves that they made. So once again, I see this team not really having a good season. Hopefully their rookies can come through and develop, but overall, I'm just not confident in the St. Louis Cardinals in 2026. I would put this team a little bit under 500, kind of where they were in 2025, to be honest. But that's my thoughts on the St. Louis Cardinals. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you guys agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Also, go check out all my socials. You can follow me on X for all of our updates. You can follow me on Instagram for all of our clips. And if you want to join our Discord and talk more MLB and MLB The Show, definitely make sure you click the link down below in the description. Also, go check out the merch. We're going to be dropping some new designs in 2026. So you want to stay tuned for those. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everyone.